protocols duly observed. Because of our time, we are starting with opening prayer. I will call on Mr. Jide Alade for the opening prayer. Jide Alade.
Good morning, everyone. Please may we be standing for the opening prayer.
I'm not going to follow any special order of introduction, but we focus jolly our program of event for this occasion. I would like to recognize the presence of Professor Ekagwari. Is he in our midst? Prof. Sir? I would like to welcome the representative of the Chief Medical Director of University College of Hospital Ibadan, the CMD of UCH representative. It was represented this morning. It's yet to come. Also, the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Omi Gordon, or a representative. She is duly represented by Professor Adedako. That's the head of the Department of Nuclear Medicine. Am I correct, sir? Because he represented her at the cutting of the unveiling of the newly commissioned, or let's say the unveiling of the radionuclide therapy suit this morning. Also, we have in our midst Master of UCH, Professor Ilesomi. You are welcome, sir. The head of Department of Nuclear Medicine, Professor Adedakpo, representing the provost, is here, even on his own capacity at the head of Department of Nuclear Medicine. That's we are in double cap. Let's clap for Professor Adedakpo again. Also, we have the head of Chemical Pathology, Professor Aneto, is here also in our midst. Professor Aneto. Okay, he will soon join us. I can see Professor Adenipekun, that's the head of radiotherapy department. Professor Adenipekun, you are welcome, sir. All dignitaries present. I saw Professor Itiola. Professor Itiola, you are welcome, sir. And I want to welcome every one of us. You are all duly recognized. Let's welcome ourselves. your neighbor. We are going to read the biography of Professor Bola Osifo. And here on this program, we call on Professor Ayodele to come and read the biography of Professor Bola Osifo. Prof. Kagori, let's clap for him as he comes forward to do that.
I think on the existing protocol, I would like to read the biography of an icon, which you will find in the brochure that has been distributed. Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo was born in Ibadan on January 16, 1937. To Nathaniel Victoria Faluyi Adam. She was raised in a family that valued integrity, education, and entrepreneurship. So she naturally developed a keen interest in academics from a young age. As her father was an education officer, she lived in several cities, including Benin City, where she learned some Edo language, and that would later be useful for her in the future. Akure, Adeokiti, and Ibadan. After attending several primary schools, she then passed the entrance examination into the highly competitive Queen's College, Lagos, where she made many lifelong friends. After 1 year in Lagos, she was moved to start the then new Queen School, Ede, where she graduated, in 1955. At Queen's, she excelled in mathematics and was also a sprinter. After Queen's, she attended a school, the Abeokuta Grammar School, to study sciences, from where she obtained a scholarship to study nutritional biochemistry at the University College Dublin. After that, she came to Nigeria and commenced work at the University College Hospital, Ibadan. Her insatiable curiosity and thirst for knowledge propelled her to further her studies, and was then awarded another scholarship to study clinical biochemistry at Cornell University, Ithaca, New York. During her study at Cornell, she married her sweetheart, Professor David Osifo, who was also pursuing his graduate education. She completed her MSc in 1965 while she was pregnant. She returned to Nigeria, joining first the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, and then moved to the University of Ibadan in 1968. Propelled by a desire to make a tangible impact in her field, she continued her academic pursuits and completed her PhD in chemical pathology at the University of Ibadan in 1975, and her MSc in nuclear medicine at Oxford University in 1982. As a faculty member at the University of Ibadan, to her field through her research and teaching. Her scholarly work has been published in over 50 renowned academic journals and has garnered international recognition for its depth and significance. So they are often cited copiously. She was appointed professor of chemical pathology in 1986. She was also appointed consultant chemical pathologist in 1976. She was also previously head of the Department of Chemical Pathology. She has also presented her research at prestigious conferences and symposia, further establishing her as a leading authority in her field. In addition to her academic publications, she won several international research grants, including from ICEM in France, the British Council, and several pharmaceutical companies, and was often an invited speaker at several conferences around the world, including Brazil, China, Singapore, France, Ghana, Japan, United States, United Kingdom, and Uganda. After an initial professional career in chemical pathology, role, she was able to leverage funds not just from the IAEA, but also from leading local philanthropists to develop a department of nuclear medicine at the University of Ibadan, providing services at the University College Ibadan, where she was appointed consultant nuclear medicine expert in 2002. And founding head of Department of Nuclear Medicine. That should deserve a round of applause. She was also to support the development of nuclear medicine programs in several universities across the country, and was until her death the chair of the Women in Nuclear Medicine Association. Her contributions to academia have been recognized through numerous awards and honors, including the Nigerian National Productivity Merit Award, which is an iconic award. She was a previous member of the Council of the University of Ibadan. She held several positions in national and international organizations, including National Treasurer, Nigerian Association of Clinical Chemists, previous member of the Oyo State Scholarship Board, 1976 to 1979, member of the French Association of Medical Scientists, member of the International Association of Vitamin Oncology, member Royal College of Pathologists, London, and member New York Academy of Sciences. She was deeply interested in nurturing the next generation of scholars and leaders. She was renowned for her engaging teaching style, her dedication to students, residents, and junior academics mentorship, and her commitment to fostering a supportive learning environment. Many of her students have gone on to achieve great success in their own academic and professional careers, a testament to her influence and impact. In addition to her academic engagement, she supported students in non-academic settings. She was the founding hall warden of Queen Idia Hall, during which she was responsible for managing the construction of the hall in 1976. She was also the first chairperson of the Committee of Hall Wardens. She was also mistress of Queen Idia Hall. As part of her support for student life and love of sports, she led a delegation of the University of Ibadan to the African University Games in Ivory Coast. Outside the university system, she has supported and mentored youth across various areas and disciplines. In all her endeavors, Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo exemplified the values of integrity, excellence, and service, leading an indelible mark on her students, colleagues, and community. Her strong faith in God, service to God, and love for her family were most important to her. Her legacy serves as an inspiration to all who have had the privilege of knowing her, and her contributions to her field and society will continue to resonate for generations to come. To this icon, I also urge us to give a very loud round of applause. Thank you.
Let's clap very well. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sir. I have the honor to invite to the stage Professor Bamiro, who is the chairperson for this occasion, for his speech. Professor Bamiro, let's welcome him. You are welcome, sir. Please come to the stage, sir.
read my own tributes. Even in writing, trying to prepare the tributes, I didn't have the opportunity of seeing what other people said. Okay. Like it is now in this age of artificial intelligence, it is stated clearly, nobody, the economy now, nobody will pay you for what you know. I'm waiting for that. What do we do in academia now? You Google it. That's what I told myself. So I Googled Professor Bola Osifo, University of Ibadan. Oh wow. You need to see everything as a result of that. And I gained a lot from that to see what other people are saying, and different things. This biography, everything. So I said, oh, thank God that I did that. But most importantly too, it's not so much Bola Osifo. The fact of the case also was that are close to the families with Professor David Osifo. In the 1970s, it was then an institute of applied science and technology with programs in petroleum engineering, food technology, agric engineering, and so on. Professor Osifo, the David Osifo, I'm talking about the husband now, I then just finished his postdoctoral program at UCLA and Stanford. UCSA in industrial engineering with specialization in engineering management. Suffice it to say that the faculty benefited tremendously from input by the then Dr. Osifo, who spearheaded the design and teaching of courses in engineering management to all the programs in the faculty. He also brought his international experience to bear in the establishment of the industrial and production engineering program, with graduates now spanning the industrial and academic landscape in the country and beyond. And we have even here today one of the products of that department in the name of Professor Oluleye. These are people who benefited tremendously. So I now said, wow. When I now looked at Professor, Mrs. Bola Olufunke, academic life, I found, wow. She too turned out to be another person that established programs for a department that at least survived her. So, and I dare say that Professor Ms. Osifo had almost similar track of achievement at the College of Medicine, as borne out by several tributes that recognize an invaluable contribution in the area of nuclear medicine. I noted that worthy of note are some of the comments by close associates that I captured in the global space. One, this is now comments that I made, I was able to extract. Somebody said, Professor Bola Osifo was an amazing teacher, leader, and trailblazer. Professor Osifo holds a special place in the hearts of many. She has affected many lives. Another commentator said, a woman of principle, a loving disciplinarian, a mother. And then went on to say, I would like to highlight in particular that she was an astute administrator. She lived a professional life worthy of emulation. The annals of nuclear medicine in Nigeria will never be accurate without her featuring prominently. And for myself, for the writer, and many of my colleagues, she deserves more than an honorable mention in our professional and personal lives. Another commentator noted, as the pioneer of nuclear medicine in Nigeria, Professor Osifo recruited me and majority of the current nuclear medicine professionals in the country. All of us had one thing in common. We had no godfathers. Mama Osifo ensured that we were appointed on merit. Otherwise, this commentator said, otherwise, I would have stood a chance against the special ones who had connections in high places. Another commentator noted, as the curtain falls on her legacy, I celebrate Mama Osifo for demonstrating that nuclear medicine can work in developing countries. She lowered the threshold for all of us to push for the growth of nuclear medicine. Noted, I'm encouraged to do the same for others. God helping me. Then finally, another commentator. The annals of nuclear medicine in Nigeria will never be accurate without our featuring prominently. And for myself and many of my colleagues, she deserves more than a honorable mention in our professional and personal lives. And then noted here, need one say more, but to thank God for a life of purpose and achievements. On the social side, members of my family were closely associated with the Osifos, with the two professor, Mr. and Mrs., being undoubtedly uncle and auntie to us. My late wife, Gladys Olarika Banro, was particularly close to Mr. Osifo, and the two constituted a strong channel of very close relationship between the two families. I can still recall a devastation with the departure of my late wife. I noted here, death is a trickster. It is sad news to say the least, no matter the age of the departed. Shocking as it is, a frightening reminder of the inevitable end of all mortals. Professor Bola Olufunke's good works and excellent memories, as attested to by quite a number who have paid tribute to her, console us all. May she rest well in the realm where death is a futility. What a woman of virtue. May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Thank you, Prof. Yeah, we want to make some adjustments. I don't know, the representative of the CMD is he around? Yes, let's move to the next item, which is comments by College of Medicine. The provost is represented here by Professor Ayodele. Let's welcome him as he comes to give the comments on behalf of the Provost of the College of Medicine.
Good morning, the chairman of this occasion, our senior professors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the Osifos family. We celebrate Mama with you today. I bring warm greetings from the current provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Umigodo. She's unavoidably absent this morning because of a very important appointment and promotions meeting going on presently in UI. She will have been represented by the deputy provost, but the deputy provost presently is at Asaba right now for the burial of Chief Edozian, who was the foremost dean of the Faculty of Medicine in this college. So she has asked me to extend warm felicitations to the family, that she would have wished to be here, but she is also here in spirit to celebrate Mama with you, because Mama has left indelible marks in the sand of time, particularly for bringing the nuclear medicine to the College of Medicine, the very first of such to be registered in any university in Nigeria. She is in touch with the first daughter of Mama, and they quite discuss a lot. So with those few remarks, she wishes this occasion very well, and that we all will go home with renewed and refreshed memories of the life and times of Mama Professor Bola Osifo. Thank you very much.
forever as the work of his own hand. Friends of our God, though they may pass away, will never be forsaken. All those asleep, who in God's memory stay, from death he will awaken. Then we'll come to see all that life can be, paradise eternal. He will call, the dead will answer, they will live at his command, for he will have a long end for the work of his own hand. So have faith and do not wonder, for our God can make a stand, and we will live forever as the world. Níbi tí kò ní sí bẹ̀rù mọ́, ó dé tán, ó dá mi lójú gan. Jehovah ló ṣe ìlérí yìí, ó dá mi lójú pé ó tán ní ọkàn mi sí. Dé bá gbogbo àwọn èèyàn, àlàáfíà yóò wá jọba bí Jehovah ṣe fẹ́. Àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n ti kú, wọ́n máa jíǹde, a ó sì padà rí wọn, ó dé tán. jọba bíjì ó fàṣẹ fẹ́. Mo nígbàgbọ́ nínú Jèhófà, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó bá sọ yóò ṣẹ. Ọkàn mi balẹ̀ pé ọjọ́ kan bọ̀ tí ayé tuntun máa dé. Ṣàmà wúrà rẹ̀ láyé tuntun, níbi tí kò ní sí bẹ̀rù mọ́. Ó dé tán, ó dá mi lójú kan.
Oh God, you know my rest and waking, when I lie down and when I rise anew. You search my thoughts, my inmost inclination, the words I speak, the ways I walk, you know them too. You saw when I was made in secret, my very bones not hidden from your sight. You saw my form, its parts were down in writing. I love the wonder of your ways and praise your might. Your knowledge, God, is wondrous or inspiring. Of this my soul is very well aware. If I should fear that darkness might enfold me, your spirit, God, would find me even there. Where could I hide from you, Jehovah, or be concealed, be hidden from your face? Not in the grave, nor in the...
So we want to proceed with the program of this event by calling on Professor Biodun Ilesimi to come and give his tribute. Let's welcome him.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Mr. Chairman. Let me just lean on adopted protocol. Well, I'm really highly honored and privileged to be here and to especially pay tribute to my departed auntie, Professor Mrs. Bola Osifo. Actually, we are celebrating a worthy life today. On hearing the departure of our lovely auntie, I personally felt a sense of great loss, a monumental loss indeed. This is actually the going away of an era
a professor of chemical pathology. And being a professor those days was uncommon among Professor Osifo was an institution and a pillar of support to several people, colleagues, and mentees. She indeed laid the foundation of good and goodness in all ramifications. I first came in contact with Professor Osifo in 1989 when I assumed duty as a young lecturer in obstetrics and gynecology. And coming from the same town speedily enhanced us to be quickly bonded. And since then, I'd always referred to her as my auntie, a role she played with distinction. She actually took me as a younger brother and the outstanding role of a senior sister. Because of our closeness, I observed in her strength, warmth, and unconditional love for academic excellence. Professor Osifo will never compromise on what is supposed to be the excellent outcome of anything, no matter what. She was a great person, a true mother, and a blessing to many people, including myself. She was the type who will point your attention to a dish that be careful. This is how you should go about it. Right? So our wisdom was really paralleled. Professor Osifo played a pivotal role during my assignment as the Chief Medical Director of UCH Ibadan. And she advised me strongly that you are not in this office to amass wealth or to make money, but rather you are to leave legacies and make impact in human lives. And there is hardly a week those days that Auntie will not visit me in the office. We are so close that at times, those days when I decided to punish my children, even when my wife has persuaded me and I refused, they know where to go to. They will quickly go to Professor Osifo's house to go and lodge complaint against me. So she was indeed my ICPC. So, and she will just come, irrespective of the time, and say, Biodu, oh, le shebe yan. All right. Shebe mo kekere la omo and all that. And we all looked up to her as a role model. In 2003, while I was in my office one morning, she came in and brought the idea of the establishment of nuclear medicine in UCH. And I thought that would be a difficult one. As usual with her, she followed it with extreme passion and strength and got the support of IAEA. This kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà? This eventually led to the approval by the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Agency. And then I recognized and observed in her the power of collaboration, the power of international linkages, and the power of making sure that you benefit maximally from your benefactors. Her selfless nature ensured the solid foundation of this first nuclear medicine in West Africa. Not only ensuring that we establish nuclear medicine, she ensured that I benefit from IAE fellowship to Tata Institution in India, and I was most reluctant to go. But she told me that there will be so many unwritten things that I will see there, and it will help me in my assignment. As expected, this was extremely beneficial to me as I learned many unwritten experiences, including staff attitudes over there, commitments, and ownership of institutions' culture, culture and values, leading to development from generation to generation. And this really showed me the difference many a times between developed and developing nations. The role of mentorship is indeed very, very important. Professor Mrs. Osifo leadership and unrelenting efforts led us to convince and persuade our benefactor, Chief Afe Babalola, on the building and commissioning of Afe Babalola nuclear medicine by the then President, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. And this building at that time cost about 800 million naira, donated by Chief Afe Babalola. Auntie and myself, and I will ask Auntie, just lead the delegation. When we get to Baba Afe, Eyilema Soro, that Auntie, you are the one to talk. Before Baba Afe tell me that he listened me, Otuti Fe ma toro nkan. All right. So, and she did all this excellently. Today, all those edifices are there, so our memories will continue to linger on. Professor Osifo's vision has been historic, enduring, and beneficial to generations. Many people benefited in terms of training, employment, research, and services in this novel area of nuclear medicine. And later on, he spread the services to many parts of Nigeria, and she was at the forefront. She never gave up. Also, Osifo was a great person, a mother, and a blessing to several people, and remained their pillar of support and strength. Auntie, I cannot thank you enough for your unconditional love for my family, especially my children. We appreciated your constant visits and financial gifts to each of them each time you travel abroad. You will ensure that she sees each and every one of them and monitor them and make sure that they are comfortable. What a person. Your beautiful memories will continue to be in our hearts. You are simply irreplaceable. You were a barrier breaker. You dare the unthinkable and make courage, determination, integrity, and hard work attractive values. In spite of life challenges and vicissitudes, you remain focused with firm belief in Almighty God and ensure quality delivery of products and assets to our lives, to our institutions, and to our fatherland. We surely miss your unconditional sacrifice, love, and advice. May your gentle soul continue to rest in perfect peace in the bosom of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
That's a beautiful tribute from Professor Ilesami. I don't know, is the representative of the CMD around now? So, if not, permit me to call on Professor Ayodele, the head of Nuclear Medicine Department, for his comments. Professor Ayodele, please.
Thank you. The chairman of the occasion and all other protocols duly observed. I'm here to deliver a tribute on behalf of the Nuclear Medicine Center, which has now become a department, the notable legacy that Mama has left in the sound of time. I will just read tribute on Mama Osifo, Mama Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo, BSc Dublin, MSc Oxon, MSc Cornell, PhD Ibadan, and National Productivity Order of Merit winner. On behalf of the Department of Nuclear Medicine, I stand here today to eulogize the virtues and parts of the achievement of our late matriarch and Mama, as we fondly call her, Professor Bola Osifo. Mama was both my teacher at the undergraduate and later at the postgraduate level when I enrolled for MSc in chemical pathology as a resident doctor. She supervised my dissertation on the usefulness of carcinoembryonic antigen, CEA, in women with metastatic breast cancer. Prior to her incursion to cancer-related studies, Mama's forte and focus was on vitamins, especially vitamin B12, also known as cyanocobalamin. Those who knew Mama well then, when you visit her in the office, you will often be entertained with either roasted granules or roasted corn with water or with a soft drink. We at the Department of Nuclear Medicine, however, we remember Mama Osifo for her uniqueness in many ways. Mama started the department in 2006 at the University College Hospital, as Professor Ilesami has mentioned, after the successful completion of an IAEA-funded National Tumors Markers project. I was on that project with her. We started at the Department of Chemical Pathology. It moved to IMRAT and then to Radiation Oncology Department before Chief Afe Balola donated that building. The department, as I said, was initially housed in 2 rooms borrowed from Radiation Oncology Department, then under retired Professor Campbell, but we later moved into our own building. In a record time, a feat made possible by the kind and generous donation of Are Afe Babalola and Mama Osifo persuasive charm and influence. The building, which was initially a bungalow, was further raised to a story building that is now known as Are Afe Babalola Nuclear Medicine Building. It is noteworthy that Mama brought something out of nothing. She placed nuclear medicine on the map of Nigeria by engagement with the IAEA, and nuclear medicine is hereby here to stay. She also ensured that not less than 10 nuclear medicine physicians were trained in South Africa to power our agreement with the IAEA for nuclear medicine to be in 6 geopolitical zones or regions of this country. This actually reveals Mama as a detribalized Nigerian. She also ensured the training of other professionals needed in the practice of nuclear medicine, which include radiographers, who are also called imaging scientists, pharmacists or radiopharmacists, medical physicists, and nurses. All these professionals were trained outside the shores of Nigeria, all thanks to our late matriarch and the magnanimity and commitment of our partners, especially the IAEA. Not only this, Mama was able to secure a deal with the custom through contact with the late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, which enabled the clearing of our molybdenum 99 generator and other radiopharmaceutical from the airport tarmac. That is one of the things that has sustained nuclear medicine in Nigeria. And I think she deserves a round of applause for that. Without this innovation by Mama, the imported radiopharmaceutical will have been useless by the time it will arrive in Ibadan. Mama also vigorously tackled the regulatory authorities, particularly the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, NNRA, on the exorbitant charges for license to import and use radiopharmaceutical, which all will fall on the patients. Mama, even at retirement, still kept up with her academic prowess at the Department of Nuclear Medicine. Thus, we had weekly journal club and quarterly review of our department activity. She also planned and executed at least 2 local conferences, which was well attended. The research endeavors coordinated by me under Mama led to at least 17 publications in a reputable journal, which has placed Nigeria on the map of nuclear medicine practice globally. In the year 2000, Mama ensured that the Nuclear Medicine Center became a department at the University of Ibadan, the first ever of such in the whole of Nigeria. This was midwifed by the then provost, Professor Olufunke Ayodele. Mama was a family person, and all of us in nuclear medicine could testify to that. She will inquire about our spouses and children, where they are, and their course of study. If Mama were to be a physician, she would have taught a course on the importance of family and social history in medical practice. Whichever tribe you come from, Mama had something to say about it. Indeed, Mama was a versatile and legendary administrator. Being an Ijesha woman, Mama did not joke with accountability, especially relating to finances. She will insist on receipt for all monetary transaction, and she does not take kindly to sloppiness in reaction to money. She was also a strict disciplinarian, and she strived for excellence. No excuse for incompetence, laziness, or using the office time for your personal issues or trading, except in very exceptional cases. However, Mama was fun-loving and adventurous. She led a 4-man delegation in 2008 to Vienna, including yours truly, to negotiate nuclear medicine program with IAEA and to provide 2 gamma cameras for each of the 6 geopolitical hospitals, with the hope that the federal government will play the counterpart funding. However, only Ibadan and Abuja sailed through. We thank her for that. We were in Miami, Florida for the Society of Nuclear Medicine Conference, and that time she went with her late heartthrob, Professor Olufunke Osifo of Industrial Engineering Department. Mama will often take the entire department out, either at the end or the beginning of the year, to a Chinese restaurant where we will eat whatever we like to wind down on our activity at the end of the year. Mama also was interested in our well-being and future. She will often introduce those of us who are close enough to invest in shares. She will tell us of the rich dividend it yielded for her parents and herself and her husband. We took to her advice, and some of us still enjoy the dividends from such investment up till now. As with all mortals, Mama Osifo had her shortcomings. But who am I to judge another man's servants? It's unto our Lord that she stands or she falls. I tasted some of her bitter pills, or some of her decisions taken in anger without adequate room for redress or consultation. But I have since forgiven and forgotten them. I learned from her some nuggets on how not to use power when in leadership. Mama fights for every cause she believes in, and with all that is within her and at her disposal, she will stick to her gun no matter whose ox is God. She often scares away those who love her when they are bold enough to tell her the truth about certain things particularly. If that is not what she wanted to hear or prefer to do, it is sad that towards the last few years of her life, she kept to herself and denied many of us who she has helped and labored on to reach her. This was very painful and sad. Well, it is over now. Mama Osifo had come, had seen, and conquered like a colossus. She had played her part and left us behind to learn from her legacies and improve on her shortcomings. All the same, she was great. She was bold. She was fearless. She was an innovator, an achiever, and one of the best the University of Ibadan has produced. Ideally, Mama should have been a professor emerita, but for her hard stance, which naturally made so many enemies for her. I celebrate you, Mama, in your sleep. I celebrate your life and time. And adieu. I wish to let you know that even while you are resting, we have sustained your legacy, and we are expanding the frontiers that you left. The Department of Nuclear Medicine celebrates you, and we thank you for all you did for us in Nigeria, and particularly the Department of Nuclear Medicine UI usage, and indeed all your mentoring and pioneering work for me and my numerous colleagues. Good night, Mama, our matriarch. Thank you very much.
Next on this, our agenda is tribute from chemical pathology. That's Professor Neto. Is he around now? It's not. Okay. Someone is representing Professor Aneto from Chemical Pathology Department.
Good afternoon, everybody. Standing on existing protocol. Speaking on behalf of Professor John Aneto, the head of chemical pathology, who is unavoidably absent this morning. He is currently in Dubai attending the International Federation of Clinical Chemists conference going on right now. So I read his tribute on his behalf. Tribute to Professor Bola Osifo, BSc Dublin, MSc Oxon, MSc Cornell, PhD Ibadan. I present this tribute in gratitude to God for Professor Bola Osifo for a fulfilling career whose transition occurred on the 8th of April 2024 this year rather unexpectedly. Though Professor Bola Osifo, as she was fondly called, left us rather unexpectedly, it is undisputed that she was a committed scientist, scholar, and a true educator par excellence. She has left a great legacy in the faculty, college, and the university. I recall that as students during our graduate school days, Professor Osifo was dreaded, but she was actually misunderstood. She was a very disciplined individual who wanted sane and the very best for our students who didn't understand her at the time, just like parents to their children. I recall one day a senior of ours in the graduate school came to me in the seminar room weeping, openly with tears flowing all over her face after a meeting with her over our project. And junior ones like us were scared the more. That same person later graduated PhD, became consultant chemical pathologist, professor of chemical pathology, head of chemical pathology, dean of faculty of basic medical sciences, and deputy vice chancellor academic at University of Calabar. I'm sure looking back, this individual will be grateful to Professor Bola Osifo. Many other examples abound all over the globe. In my own case, I rate Professor Bola Osifo as one of the best graduate teachers that I ever had. I also recall that towards the end of our MSc program, he sent some classmates to look for me one day, and they found me in the library. By the way, she inculcated in us that as graduate students, the library should be our homes. She led by example, as you will always see her coming to check for information in the library, either in the Index Medicus or to read the latest Nature, Science, New Scientist, New England Journal of Medicine, The Lancet or BMJ, American Journal of Nutrition, Clinical Chemistry, among others. The library was well stocked in those days and up to date. She would pat you on the back when she met you reading in the library. To come back to the sermon, I was scared when I was told she was looking for me. I tried to run through my mind as to what I could have done wrong. With trepidation, I ran from the medical library to her office. On greeting her, she asked me to sit down and asked, "Do you want to do a PhD?" I answered, "If I passed, ma." Angrily, she asked again, "Do you want to do a PhD?" Fearfully again, I said, "If I passed, ma." She said, "I'm asking if you want to do a PhD and you are saying if I passed." Even though that was my wish, I was afraid as I did not know why she was asking me then. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She then said, "With what I am seeing here so far, you are one of those we should encourage to do a PhD." That was when my mind came down and she offered me a wrap of granuts and a bottle of Sprite. That is Professor Osifo for you. All my classmates wanted me to tell them why she called me. I didn't tell them. I think I just told them she wanted some information about one of our former teachers who was out of the country. Professor Osifo was a great, enthusiastic, passionate, and truly scholarly teacher of global repute. She was very renowned in the field of nutrition and metabolism, as well as nuclear medicine, that she established the pioneering clinical department in Nigeria. Her knowledge of intermediary metabolism, especially B12, cyanocobalamin metabolism, 1-carbon metabolism, was legendary, and she was one of the global leaders in the field. She virtually emptied herself into graduate students when it comes to nutrition and metabolism, of which she was a coordinator for many years in the department. Though we feared her, we were glad she taught us, and we all remain grateful to her today and are proud she was our teacher. He was also a great mentor to young academics at Ibadan, at least Dr. O.M. Akinoshun, Professor K.S. Ayodele, who just spoke, and I can testify to this. I recall again that on joining the Department of Chemical Pathology as a junior academic, she informed me that she was going to hand over her lecture topics to me to be handling, that she was getting ready to retire. Then she handed me the lecture schedule with the topics to me and asked me to prepare the lecture and let her see. After preparing the lecture draft, I brought it to her and she took a look and approved and told me to go ahead and give the lecture. On the day of the lecture at the Polyandrixy Lecture Hall, I gave the lecture, and unknown to me, she was in attendance at the last seat at the exit. I met her on my way out, and I was shocked as she told me she was not going to be around. She patted me at the back and said, "That was very good, but you went too much into detail. As university students, they should go and find out information for themselves." Though I was shocked to find out she was at the lecture, I was later happy that she approved of my performance, and that boosted my confidence. That is mentoring, for which I remain grateful, and I'm sure she must have done the same to many others. I can go on and on to catalog her highly beneficial contributions to the university system. She was nationally and internationally renowned in the field of chemical pathology and nuclear medicine, and a prominent African representative at the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, from which she brought many benefits to Nigeria. Professor Osifo was former head of the Department of Chemical Pathology from 1994 to 1997 and raised the bar during her tenure. Her brilliant, eloquent, and persuasive, if superior arguments and contributions at various committees cannot easily be forgotten. She was also a great believer in the scientific process, which requires meticulous examination of issues, and often pointed out that though the thought processes can be exacting, they are vital and worth all the trouble. Like any good researcher, she prided herself on her ability to collect, analyze, and present data, stressing that science is a collective effort, putting the public good above individual gain. In a nutshell, Professor Bola Osifo was a scientist with great breadth of expertise and experience, and will be sorely missed by all of us. I often tell myself that we are all humans and are prone to error of judgment. As mortals, we all have our faults and shortcomings. May God, in His infinite mercy, forgive her for whatever mistakes, sins she may have made during her sojourn on earth. May God protect her biological and academic family combined, and continue all the projects she initiated at the University of Ibadan and the University College Hospital, Ibadan, to which she was a consultant chemical pathologist. Adieu, great and passionate scholar. Adieu, Professor Bola Osifo. Adieu, great scientist of metabolism. May your soul continue to rest in peace. On behalf of the staff and students of the Department of Chemical Pathology, this tribute is given by Professor John Aneto. Thank you very much.
I want to, at this junction, recognize and appreciate those that are following this event virtually. Let's keep on sending our tribute as we go on. You may not have the opportunity to come out physically since you are not here with us. Permit me to invite Queen's School representatives for their song, Queen's School song. Yes, are they here? Still from Queen's School. Where are they? College. Queen's College and Queen's School. Okay, both. Queen's College and Queen's School. College, Lagos. Let's invite them to the stage.
One. Pass on the torch, still brightly gleaming. Pass on the hopes, endless streaming to those who follow close at hand. Pass on the torch, let's kill the yearning part on the secret still most yearning, that they may live where we have planned. Okay. Pass on the torch, the cry inspiring, unites us here in hopes untiring, in bonds no future, yes, can sever. We forward press, not backward turning, that this our torch most brightly burning, they may pass on and on forever.
Let's have soft music, please. Video slide part 2, second part of the video slide, to go together with the background music.
With the Lord, Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo. I was privileged to be both a child and also a colleague to
when all the dark clouds roll away and the sun begins to shine, I see my freedom from across the way, and it comes right in on time when it shines.
proceed with the tributes. Just as I said earlier, the people online, keep sending your tributes. But for those of us that are physically present, I want to call on, so we are on item 13, tribute from professional mentees. That's item 13 on our agenda. The first on the list is Professor Mrs. Biodun Longe. Let's welcome her.
Professor Bamiro, all protocols duly observed. My tribute is actually from a family perspective. Even though you can consider me a mentee of Professor Bola Osifo, who is my cousin. I fondly call her Auntie. Her father, Nathaniel Obudare Faluyi, of Ifalela family from Iloro Quarters. Ilesha is the relation of my dad, Daniel Folorunso Ogunlela, who introduced us to Papa and Mama Faluyi in the 50s. They were very, very wonderful friends to us, and they took us as their children when my father went to be with the Lord. They were then living at Okebola, Ibadan. I was in the primary school then, in the mid-50s. And we were free to go to Papa and Mama's house anytime we wanted. I actually asked two of my siblings to say something about Auntie. And what my senior brother wrote is this. He said this was in the mid-50s, both of us then teenagers and still in the secondary school. As adults, Sister Funke will often invite me to the Jehovah's Witness convention. Her parents were elders, which always held in Elisha. Incidentally, her parents and mine were very close, hence the closeness of us, their children too. On the other hand, while in Lagos, where I lived for over 40 years, I was also close to Uncle Engineer Segun Faluyi, senior brother to Sister Funke, who studied medical engineering in Loughborough College in the UK. And so they were close because they were living in Lagos together. Apparently, my brother is also an engineer. So he said, to me, you are the closest to Auntie, so you should give the tribute. And indeed, I was the closest to Auntie Boya among all my siblings. Since I returned from England after my PhD to join the Faculty of Agriculture early 75, Auntie took me so dear to herself and was very interested in my career, so I can actually qualify as a mentee of Auntie Bola Osifo. Her dear husband, Professor David Ehige Osifo, a professor of industrial engineering, used to call me my in-law. So I'm standing here today to present the tribute to my auntie, Professor Bola Osifo Ayodele, Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo ní Faluyi, on behalf of Ogunlela family. I'm going to dwell much on my personal relationship with her and my very pleasant memories of her, for which I thank God. Auntie was passionate and very committed to the development of others professionally. She was a motivator, a mentor, who impacted positively on the lives of many, leaving great legacies for generations. My younger sister, who graduated in the College of Medicine here in Ibadan, sent this to me. He said, I have this to say about our auntie. Late Professor Bola Olufunke Osifo was compassionate, loving, and kind. She was a mother figure and great mentor to many in their career path, always willing to give young professionals the opportunity to explore and develop potentials. A very good example was the case of the early practical exposure she afforded me back then in my early years as a medical student. My first exposure to community field work immediately after my preliminary studies at the University of Ibadan in the early 70s was courtesy then Dr. Mrs. Bola Osifo, who magnanimously got me a vacation job to work with her humble self and Dr. Remike Shiro, apparently she's here today, Dr. Remike Shiro on a nutrition project in Oshegere village. The intervention community in Ibadan, sequel to some relevant studies previously conducted in that village. I will go with the team to take blood samples for hematological parameters and to assess the height and weight of young children, especially the under 5s, in that community, among other interventions. While coming with the team on the project, I was exposed to using the hematocrit centrifuge and doing colorimetry for hemoglobin when their blood samples were brought back from the field in the lab in human nutrition, Department of Medicine. I got all the support and supervision I needed to become really proficient at doing the task given to me. I found this experience, that is the field and laboratory work, very rewarding, and it probably contributed to my passion for community medicine. Little wonder that I eventually specialized in public health. Actually, she worked with UNICEF on her retirement. This is just one of many examples of Professor Osifo's good leadership, technical support, and mentorship. According to my sister, she was thorough and very professional. The exemplary life she lived is worthy of emulation. I thank Auntie for her good example of hard work and great sense of responsibility. Her dedicated service to the University of Ibadan has not gone unnoticed. Engaged in teaching and research in both the departments of human nutrition and chemical pathology, she will be remembered for her role and exceptional contributions to the development of both. Her research contributions in the field are commendable. Many things to learn from Professor as a young person just coming up. Her her generosity, she was full of honor and integrity. She exuded confidence and did not undermine the capabilities of others. She introduced me into hall administration in 1976, and I was appointed assistant warden of Queen's Hall, the only female hall of residence then. Not long after that, she left Queen Elizabeth Hall to become the first warden of Idea Hall. Of course, I worked in Queen's Hall for about 11 years as assistant warden, acting warden, warden and hall mistress before I finally requested the university to avail me of that responsibility. Auntie was selfless and kind. She loved identifying with family. My daughter, Tony, remembers Professor Osifo and says she was always a delight to talk to and that she had a wonderful sense of humor and a lovely smile. Tony has special memories of traveling with Auntie, Osaze, and Inoma, and I think Egbe must have been there to join me in Nancy, France in the summer of 1983 when I was on sabbatical leave at the Institut Français de la Brasserie et Malterie, Nancy. Auntie came then, probably under INSAM, to do some work for a very, very brief period in France. And we all had a good time together. In fact, what Auntie did was that she connected me to a family from UCH then, a younger family. I think his name was Ogunshulire or something, Ogunshulire. And I was so pleased that we could make this connection. Of course, Auntie took very good care of my daughter and safely handed her over to me. Auntie was a woman of influence. She would want as much as possible to connect you with all that can be of help one way or the other to you, particularly developing you academically. And so that's why I said Auntie, actually, I can qualify as one of her mentees. Auntie wanted me to spend my sabbatical leave in 2010 at the University of Afe Babalola University. Just imagine at that time. And she took me to Chief Afe Babalola, Chief Afe Babalola, to introduce me to him. And actually, that gave me contact with Chief Afe Babalola. He actually took me around his library, his very great library, and I got that contact with him. But actually, eventually, I ended up not going to Afe Babalola. I went somewhere else. Professor Osifo was a great researcher, an accomplished scholar, and an exemplary administrator. Her achievements attracted recognitions and awards for which she was publicly honored nationally and internationally. Of course, we all know she received the Nigerian National Productivity Award in 1998. A courageous woman she was, and she will be remembered for her forthrightness and generosity. To her professional colleagues, Professor Bola Osifo must have been recognized, as we have listened here today and heard, as a pioneer and innovator, first in many respects and still professionally active even many years after retirement. To her students, Auntie was a great mentor who offered good leadership. He was sincere and generous, no matter how you have related with her. To her dear husband of over 50 years, who I greatly admired, a man of few words, Auntie was a dutiful wife. I was always welcome into their home anytime I could go there and see them. To her children, their spouses and grandchildren, Auntie was a caring, loving mother, mother-in-law, and grandmother. She was able to do all this by the grace of God and the mercy of God. And even though she has her, like somebody said, some things, that may not be well accepted by some, Auntie did whatever she did out of a good heart and mean it very well. She anchored so much on her faith. She believed in God. Auntie was a Jehovah's Witness, just like grandpa and grandma, that is daddy and mama and papa Falulu. And I know that she was a lover of God. My charge today is that Auntie has so many qualities to emulate. everyone in here that there is no salvation in any other except Jesus Christ. In him there is a living hope, an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not, and reserved in heaven for everyone who believes in Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Good night, Auntie. Your life was impactful. Your legacy lives on. Rest in perfect peace. And may God comfort the entire family and the associates. May the Lord strengthen and keep you, Dr. Egbe Osifo Daudu, Dr. Inoma Alade, Ibukun Osifo Osaze's wife, and all the grandchildren and your spouses. I thank you for this privilege to say a little about my dear auntie. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Gradually, we will invite Professor Mrs. Yinka Falusi to give a tribute. Professor Mrs. Yinka Falusi. Let's welcome her as she comes forward to give a tribute.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure and privilege to say a few words about my auntie. We all called her auntie because she was a good auntie to us. Like all else, we received the passing of our dear big sister auntie, Professor Mrs. Bola Osifo, with a huge shock and surprise. Actually, I had been planning to see her when her daughter, Enoma, came last time before the passing away. But as all of us have one thing or the other that we are nothing, I didn't get to see her before she passed on. But I've always had fond memories, fun time with her when she was very agile and able. So I will call to remembrance those things which I remember about her. As we all heard, she was one of the first students to come and plant the seed in Queen's School. She left Queen's College to come to Queen's School to start. She was one of the first, those people who started Queen's School where I went. She left Queen's School in 1955 and I arrived Queen's School in 1959. She was one of the brilliant students that were chosen specifically to come down there and plant the seed. I have very fond memories of her, especially at the University College Hospital, where we spent several years together. She was in chemical pathology, and I was in hematology, following their footsteps herself. Professor Taylor, all of them were ahead of us, and we were looking at them up there as scientists of great value to us, so we could learn from them. Auntie had a solid science background from all you have had read out to you today. However, she also epitomized the long suffering of an individual who was willing to leave a legacy. That is the point. Besides our going to Queen's School, that point I just made is something that I treasured in her. She was a long sovereign lady in this university, college, hospital, this college of medicine, and this University of Ibadan. Because her career was one of those that needed you to have a strong courage, be courageous, believe in yourself. Even when things are pushing you around, you have to believe in your own self and be sure you were good enough to face the challenges of the time. Professor Osifo was one of those who actually championed the cause of we women in academia in this part of university. I will not hide to say that this lady of repute was a bridge builder. A bridge builder between the medical and the science platforms. If we look at the history of her life, the history of her career, we will see that she went through a lot of things as a scientist. And the courage to do these big things she has done, getting University of Ibadan on the platform, the global platform of medicine, and making sure that even after that, she was able to train so many younger people. Despite the challenges that face those of us in the science field, as I'm telling you, in fact, many times I ask myself, how did I come to do science in Nigeria? If I can digress a little, there was a BBC official who came from the United Kingdom to interview me on BBC at a point. He said, I'm coming to interview you. I said, why don't you tell me on the phone? He said, no, he's coming to Nigeria to come and ask me how I functioned at the College of Medicine with no lights in many places, with your equipment all broken down a lot of the times. But before me was Professor Osifo. She did the science like the others. And we followed them. And we did the science. And we were able to achieve something. So it is important that we remember the role of this great leader. She came, she worked so hard, relentlessly, bringing town and gown together, bringing those who could afford to help the University of Ibadan to the University of Ibadan to lay a foundation. And I don't think that that foundation is a weak one. It's a very strong one, as was attested to. So we should remember that Auntie Bola was a forerunner who was a pioneer and made the rest of us who are younger than her look at her, emulate her, work hard like her, and be able to achieve something in the realm of science. And to that effect, you can see the women in science sitting down there to pay a tribute to her, to say that she was recognized only a few days ago at the University of Ibadan, even when she has departed, because she came, she saw, and she conquered. We can then testify what she brought to the College of Medicine at the University of Ibadan. She was a leading figure in her chosen field of endeavor. On the international research scene, she had so many grants that have been listed, and with those grants, she was, like Queen's School will say, you cannot afford to be sloppy. She maintained integrity in the financial aspects of the work, as well as training younger colleagues. She combined everything together and was able to lay a good foundation. Our dear auntie had a hard exterior. I will not compromise on that. Even the daughters are smiling. She had a very hard exterior, but she had an inner core of kindness, cheer, and good reward for you when you are working hard. Say, àbúrò mi, Yínká, wá sọ fún mi, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? I had a hard time too, some of it like her, but she always cheered me up and said, just continue what you are doing. You are going to make a success of it. So I had a lot to learn from her. Even that exterior, she was still able to build a bridge between the medics and the scientists. That we must note. So our auntie, we want to say that Professor Bola Osifo had a bloom. Each petal was adorned with petals, and the petals blossomed with wisdom. She had wisdom to combine everything around her and be able to make a success of it. Of course, you cannot say something is coming at you and you get frail and jittered. So she had this guidance, and she had the strength from the Lord to be able to hold on and produce something with the life she was given. She had the pursuit and unwavering dedication to the pursuit of truth and served as a lighthouse in any place there was darkness. And her illuminating path continues to lead those who knew her and learned from her. Though she may have departed, our dear auntie left a legacy for lives and hearts and minds for those who are fortunate enough to know her. Many generations learned from her wisdom, and the enduring power of education, the indelible mark she left behind, is truly extraordinary. She was an educator. She was an inspirator. She was an inspiration to all of us. And she was a bridge builder. I pray that her soul rests in perfect peace, and the Lord take care of the family that she has left behind. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. Yes, we want to have a lunch break. Lunch break. Can we have the music? Give us. So let's have our lunch break.
Malaika, nakupenda malaika, ingekuwa maliwe, ingekuwa dada, nashindwa na mali sina we, ingekuwa malaika, nashindwa na mali sina we.
thank you, thank you. We want to proceed with the program of events for this occasion. We are now on tribute, that's item 13. Tribute from professional mentees. We like to call on Professor Femi Ogunbiyi to come forward for his tribute. Professor Femi Ogunbiyi. Let's welcome him.
Good afternoon, and I'd like to thank Egbe and Enoma for asking me to give a tribute. But I must start by saying that I've been wrongly classified. In that program, I was classified as a professional mentee. As a matter of fact, I should have been classified with a family. So I would not be talking about professional mentee, just to say that, yes, as a fact, I'm in the field of laboratory medicine where Auntie was. But I had a different relationship than just professional with her. When I came to Ibadan to residency training was when I met her. I became aware of her presence and our relationship. Because once I came, when we met, she said to me, "Oh, you are so, you are my nephew." And then I asked my mother, and she said, "Oh, she's your auntie," this and that and that. And then our relationship continued in that manner. So whereas she was in chemical pathology, basically a training in anatomical pathology, but I had a very close relationship with their department because I had a mentor there who they worked together. And so I used to be very frequent in their department. So I can just attest to the fact that all the things that have been said about her relationship with staff in their department is true. But like I said, because of that relationship, I actually used to frequently visit Wadai in UI because of Egbe and Enoma. And so we related more frequently outside of the department, outside of the hospital than within the hospital. But we did talk about professional training at different times. And she was keenly interested in my progress in training. And she followed through with checking with me how I was doing. Gladly, I progressed reasonably well, if I may say so, and concluded my training. I joined faculty, and then I got married and brought my wife to Ibadan. So she quickly also picked up on my wife and tried to mentor her the best she could, being now another addition to the family. We had a fairly cordial relationship. We continued that relationship until she moved on to the different things that she did. I just need to give acclamation to the fact that she did very well, even from the perspective of a younger person. And she did have all these achievements and attainments, which everybody has, who have spoken here, have related to, including the fact that she spearheaded the formation of that nuclear medicine department. It was naturally a tussle. If I dare say that even then there was some controversy as to how come she was the one starting it out of a project, an original project from their department. But she was trained in nuclear medicine, so she was focused on what she wanted to do. And it is heartwarming to note that we're benefiting from all her doggedness in doing what she did. I know that gradually she then faded away from the hospital, retired, stayed at home, and then out of the blues came the news that she passed on. She lived a good life. We have evidence for all her achievements. I don't think you need more evidence than what Egbe, Enoma, Inca, all of them have turned out to be. In spite of vicissitudes of life, she persisted in her strong character and succeeded to win her race. I would like, on behalf of, therefore, my wife and my own family, to wish Egbe Enoma the fortitude to continue and to pray that she continues to rest in perfect peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to call on Dr. Mrs. Ola Oladapo. Dr. Mrs. Ola Oladapo, is she around? Okay, you are welcome, ma. Let's welcome her. Oladapo.
Continue to stand on the existing protocol. Since I have my tribute written out, I'll rather read it for preciseness. This is my tribute to Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo. My very first time of calling her by her full name. It is with great sense of humility and privilege that I pay tribute to my dear auntie, an outstanding scholar, a distinguished researcher, an erudite professor. But more on a personal level, you are a chip off the old block, a cherished daughter, a dependable sister, a caring auntie, a loving wife, a wonderful mother, a generous grandma, a committed friend, a trustworthy mentor, above all, a faithful servant of Jehovah God, whom you serve till the very end. The list is endless, but if I'm to use just one word to sum it all up, that is the person who you are authentic. Yes, authentic. And the image you carry is that of smartness and being stylish. Papa and Mama Agotelo were an integral part of my parents' lives. And as a matter of fact, it was Mama that named me Olulola, a name which I bear with a great sense of pride due to the origin. Since childhood, you are the auntie whom I revere, look up to with fondness, and hold dearly in my heart. From the very first time I met you physically, when you visited me in the boarding house on your return from England, we took to each other and became inseparable. Apart from my parents, you knew virtually all the significant details of my life as we shared precious moments together. You are the one who channeled my course into medicine, for which I'll forever be grateful. And then you modeled the life of a virtuous woman, a homemaker, a nurturing mother, with such skills and dexterity, such that one can learn freely from you. There was never a dull moment, for you opened your arms and heart wide to me and my family. You'll be greatly missed, but your memories will continue to linger on in pleasantness. Thank you, Ma, for all that you were. Fading away like the stars of the morning, losing their light in the glorious sun. Thus would we pass from the earth and its toiling, only remembered by what we have done. Horatius Bonar. And that's my tribute. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Dr. Yetunde Onimode. Let's welcome her.
Everyone. I'd like to stand on an existing protocol as well and thank the family of Mama Osifo for granting me the opportunity to give this tribute to her memory. Professor Osifo was known to virtually everyone as Mama. The one time I made the mistake of addressing her as Prof, I got the talking to of my life. She gave me one of her famous scoldings, and it's safe to say I never repeated that mistake. So I'll be referring to her as Mama. Mama came into my life in medical school, courtesy my dad. He was the deputy vice chancellor then, and they got to meet at the council meeting. And he informed her that he had a daughter in medical school, and of course promptly dashed me to her for further mentoring, as was the pattern in those days. And so I'd known her for quite a number of years. She was kind enough to reach out to my family after the passing of my dad and had a strong hand in our continued education thereafter. So just to give some context to my relationship with her. However, my tribute today is more of a professional one, where I will address the stance she took in maintaining the practice of nuclear medicine in Nigeria. It happened that, I think it was in 2012 or so, the licensing fees to practice to obtain and use radiation in the country were arbitrarily increased from, I think, 250,000 naira to 2.5 million. It was a rude shock, and as a department, we could not afford to pay that fee. And the activities that we had, our scans, our treatments, they ground to a halt. Many patients with cancer were turned away because we could not contradict the laws and treat them without that license. Mama took it upon herself. She organized press conferences, newspaper articles, made a lot of noise in the public domain just to ensure that nuclear medicine would resume once again and that the license would become affordable. History records that the Senate eventually became involved, and the officer involved was questioned and sanctioned. And this reversal of, and there was a reversal of those fees back to an affordable rate. She was not the only one involved in that struggle, but I will give her kudos because she fought valiantly until that cause was obtained. And this is just one of several examples that points to, thank you. This is one of several examples that points to her resolutions. Whenever she makes up her mind, she will get that thing done. She was a woman of steel. She had a resolute mind. She had laser sharp focus. Once she made up her mind that this thing was going to be done, it would be done. And thankfully, nuclear medicine was one of those things that she had made up her mind was going to succeed in Nigeria. And so I give this tribute in memory of contributions to that field. I would also like to appreciate her for all she did for our department, over and beyond the course of being a HOD. And we want to say adieu, Mama. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have had so much tributes from so many people, professional, mentees, and others. We now want to move to item 15, which is tributes from selected family members and friends. Because of our time, we may not be able to call every member of the family. Sorry, I jumped 14, so there's going to be video tributes. Then Association of Women in Science, they will be coming forward, thereafter. Can we have the video tributes, please?
Osifo. She was a teacher when I was a medical student in the same class as Egbe in 1987. I just remember the smile. Mama taught us, played with us, and also disciplined us all in stretch. And as a colleague many years later, while working at the University of Ibadan, Department of Pathology, Mama Osifo personally took me on forums and just telling me the things I needed to know and the things I didn't need to know, and everything else in between. It was such a pleasant memory, and I rejoice with the Osifo family, even as they celebrate a great legacy and a life that was really well lived. I know you're going to miss Mama very well, but I want to assure you that she touched so many lives, including mine. So, and my condolences, and I wish you all the best. Bye.
When we were growing up in important point, our family orbit was Otelo, where the parents of our mother.
My name is Dele Adeyi, and this is a message of condolence to Egbe and the Osifo family for our dear mom who has gone to be with the Lord, Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo. I was privileged to be both a child and also a colleague to Professor Osifo. She was a teacher when I was a medical student in the same class as Egbe, graduating in 1987. And I just remember this smile with which Mama taught us, played with us, and also disciplined us all in stretch. And as a colleague many years later, while working at the University of Ibadan, Department of Pathology, Mama Osifo personally took me on the arms and just telling me the things I needed to know and the things I didn't need to know and everything else in between. It was such a pleasant memory. And I rejoice with the Osifo family, even as they celebrate a great legacy and a life that was really well lived. I know you're going to miss Mama very well, but I want to assure you that she touched so many lives, including mine. So, again, my condolences, and I wish you all the best. Bye.
My name is Kunle Adekile, and it's my great privilege and honor to pay this tribute to the memory of my dear auntie, who I loved very much, and we all loved her a great deal. When we were growing up in Ibadan in the 60s, 50s and 60s really, one important point in our family orbit was Agotelo, where the parents of Mrs. Osifo lived. Her mother, Mrs. Faluyi, was my father's favorite cousin, or he called her sister. And they were, Mr. and Mrs. Faluyi were an exemplary couple that everybody looked up to. In particular, my father was extremely close to and proud of her cousin, Mrs. Faluyi. And by extension, the children, Uncle Shola and Auntie Funke, as we called Mrs. Osifo at that time, also became very important to us all. In particular, Mrs. Osifo was very endearing to all of us. We held her up as a role model. When she came back from the US with her PhD and was appointed at the University of Ibadan, I was on my way, or just entering the university at that time. This was when I became extremely close to her, and she was a role model to me because you could not but help admire her brilliant mind, her source of to show love. Once again, I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And again, I thank God that we had the association. So I just pray that everybody who is attending this ceremony will also find favor with God. Thank you all. Thank you, and God bless you.
Distinguished ladies, gentlemen, Mama's children, and thank you for the opportunity to for our organization to say a few words on Mama. I would like to say that on a personal note, Mama gave me the courage and belief to accept the fact that I am not strange in a very political environment that the academia seem to have become. She inspired me to continue to give my opinion and stay on the path of integrity and truth, even if I'm the only one speaking that language at some fora. On the organization's part, we see Mama as one of our mentors and a great inspiration for women to attain the glass ceiling and be whatever we plan to be. Mama was fearless, loving, blunt, somebody who believed that if there are 50 reasons why an idea would not work, she focused on the one reason why it would work. And that really stood Mama out for the successes that she recorded. There were failures too, but Mama took it in her stride and made lemonades out of lemons. And that's why on the 22nd of May, 2024, we recognize Mama, even in her state of transition, as a trailblazer and an encourager for women in research to emulate. And today, as the coordinator of Ibadan OWSD, I would like to present the sash that we reserved for Mama that day to one of our children as a memoir for Mama's achievements, because we honored retired female academics, and Mama was the first person we honored, because we not only recognize her momentous strides in life, but even in passing, we recognize and appreciate her for the beacon of hope that she has given to women in science. So on behalf of the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, the Ibadan branch, we want to say, fare thee well, Mama Osifo. May angels receive you, and may your memories continue to shine bright, not only for the family, but for the world of science and research in general. Thank you.
So we are now on item 15, which is tribute. And we are going to pick few members of the family and friends. We have 3 names here. First on the list, on behalf of the Osifo family, I'll be calling on Professor Chief Erase Osifo. On behalf of the Osifo family, I think, okay, is she sending initiative? Okay. Yeah, sir.
Standing on the existing protocol, I, Professor Chief Ayodele Osifo, wish to invite my brother, Major General Ayodele Osifo, to speak extemporaneously, very briefly, in honor of our departed matriarch. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the Osifo family, it is a great honor and pleasure to be invited to speak on behalf, or to say a few words in memory of a very great and accomplished woman, Professor Bola Olufunke Osifo. Let me start by saying that the Osifo family, our history dates back to a long time ago. We originate from Ward B2 in Ugbagwe, Benin City. My uncle, the late Professor David Ehige Osifo, is directly my biological uncle. He was a younger brother to my late father, who was the eldest son of late Pa Osakwe, our granddad. He migrated, in quotes, to Ibadan, where he remained here as an academic for the rest of his life. Ibadan, he found favor. In Ibadan, he found peace. In Ibadan, he found joy. Most importantly, in Ibadan, he found a very loving wife. And the marriage to our late auntie, who we now call Auntie Mama, she came into the Osifo family and extended our Osifo family in all frontiers. Beyond just being an academic who complemented my late uncle as an academic, she also raised for us 3 wonderful children. She gave my uncle peace. She gave my uncle joy. She gave him happiness. And we are deeply, deeply very proud of her professional and personal achievements. We are proud of her as a mother. We are proud of her for having extended the Osifo name to all parts of the world. So on behalf of the entire Osifo family, I want to congratulate the children, or the direct children, for having taken very bold steps to immortalize the name of Mama, and then for having remained very wonderful children and have continued to fly the flag very high. We want to thank Mama for taking the Osifo name very, 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 very far. And then most importantly, we pray to God Almighty that may His grace continue to bless and guide her, and may He grant her fortitude. May perpetual light shine upon her soul. This and many more we ask for. Amen. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. I would like to call on Dr. Fumbi Osho. Is Dr. Fumbi Osho around? She's coming. Let's welcome her.
afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Fumbi Osho, and I'm Professor Bola Osifo's niece. I'm grateful and blessed that Auntie Professor Bola Osifo was my auntie. I have a lot to say about her because we behave the same way. And for a long time, we didn't get on, but eventually we got on. We are the kind of two of us, very brave, very bold. We don't hide behind a finger. That's an Ijesha thing, though. Don't hide behind a finger. We speak the truth, and we are not afraid of anybody, as long as we are on the truth side. My auntie was a very loving person, and she was not Kenny Manny. As an achiever, she wanted everybody to achieve. When I was in UI with her, she would like to treat me like a secondary school child. She was in the kawe. She was in the shaking con. What did you do today? And I said, auntie, You know, when she met my boyfriend, who I eventually married, said, and I said, Professor Osifo Ateyinko, wa so enu eti gboroju. That was my auntie for you. She was really, really a wonderful woman. A woman that everybody in the family was very proud of. Anywhere she is, she will tell the truth. She will stand on truth and honesty. She left a mark in our hearts, and nothing will ever erase this. She was a rare gem and will remain to be cherished. Surely, Auntie, our love for you will forever remain. May God bless you wherever you are, Auntie, and keep you safe in heaven until we are reunited in His name. I would like to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to Enema and Egbe. I can't describe what they did. They are just too much. They are lovely children. Children that everybody will pray to have. They were coming to see Auntie every other month. They really took care of their mother. Wọ́n tọ́jú Auntie, wọ́n dẹ̀ dù màmá wọn kẹ́. May God give our children that kind of attitude to take care of us when we grow old. I never knew my auntie would die so young. I thought she would live to be 100 because she was so agile, she was so strong, she was so hardworking. And when I was told that she died, I said, no, it's not possible. At 87, that is too young. But I thank you, Aide. I thank you, Enoma. I thank you very, very much. May God be with you. May your children do the same for you in the mighty name of Jesus. You really moved me. I feel like crying loud because what you did for Auntie is only God that will bless you so much. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. And I thank you all for turning up to give my auntie the last respect. May God bless you all. May we live very old too, in good health, more prosperity, joy, happiness, and celebration galore in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you all.
Thank you. I'll be calling on the representative of the Faluy's family. That is the engineer Sheung Falui. To come forward. Let's welcome engineer Sheung Falui on behalf of the Faluy's family. You're welcome, sir.
Auntie, thank you very much for the opportunity to also speak on behalf of the Falui family. And maybe what it is that I also say is that it is very encouraging to be able to see all that has been said about our auntie. My auntie, Professor Osifo, she was the only sister of my father. There were just two of them. And they were very close. They were very fond of each other. And she took us as her children as well. So to be able to see how much impact that she has made to so many people's lives, it is something that is very encouraging. Not just to so many people's lives, but also in many spheres and areas of life. She was an accomplished professor, and her contributions to the development of nuclear medicine and chemical pathology, they were outstanding. We were very proud of her. She was also a thoroughbred professional and academic. And it is encouraging to see that there are so many of our peers and students who are testifying to this and demonstrating how much she has done for them. People from all over the world who have been inspired by her. She was also, for us, a very kind human being. It is true, people have said maybe she has a hard exterior, but she had shown uncommon grace and passion for helping people, helping others. And we are very grateful that she has left that indelible legacy in our minds and hearts, and also in the lives of so many people that she has touched, that is what she'll be remembered for. I'll also want to say that she came from an illustrious family. She had this planted in her. Her father's father was Ifeanyi Ifalela. He had been a warrior that had fought in the Kiriji Wars in the late 1800s, as all valiant Ijesha men and Ekiti men were expected to do. Thankfully, he came back from the war, and he was known as a native doctor, a renowned native doctor in Elisha. Her father, that is the son of Ifeanyi Ifalela, was also a very high-ranking civil servant in the British colonial government. In fact, he had been given an award for productivity, just like Auntie, by Queen Elizabeth II. He was district education officer for Western Nigeria, and so he was responsible for the schools in the Western region. He traveled a lot, and so he took my father and my auntie, his sister, along when it is that they went around setting up schools and making sure that the standard of education in the Western region was high, something that I know all ló máa ń kọ́ wa ní maths ní school. That he's a professor of mathematics now, but when they were in primary school, that it was our grandmother that used to best them in mathematics. But then, you know how it is that at that time, not many women were given the opportunities to further their careers. So my grandmother, she applied her talents in mathematics to business and to entrepreneurship. Her brothers, they were all very distinguished people. Our siblings, they became lawyers, judges, doctors. But she was able to pass on this love for mathematics and analytics to our children and to Auntie. And so Auntie was imbued with a deep love for education at a time that it was uncharacteristic to have women to study sciences. And she was also imbued with a deep love of people because her parents, they truly loved people and were traveling for that passion. Auntie never forgot this. She was always very conscious of living up to her family name and those legacies. But maybe what she would have loved to be remembered most for is her faith. She was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and she cherished that very deeply and sincerely. She was not offensive or obtrusive about sharing her faith, but she spent many hours, particularly towards the end of her life, sharing her faith in the hope of life in a paradise new earth as contained in the Bible. She will spend long hours talking to strangers or conducting Bible studies with interested persons, whether on the roads or even in villages in the outskirts of Ibadan or even in her home. She was that passionate about her faith. But I would say for us, her family, she was a loving mother to Egbe, Osaze, and Inoma. She loved them very dearly. She was a devoted grandmother. Her grandchildren have written in the tributes how it is that Auntie never forgot anything about them. She had a prodigious memory and she knew everything about everyone. She was a warm and lively cousin who stayed connected. Auntie was remarkable in this. She knew everybody. Her grandfather was Ifalu Ifalela. Her grandfather's brother changed to Ogunlela, but they still stayed connected with the Ogunlela family. Her father's oldest sister, who brought up her father, married Obe, who then had children, Ibidapo, Obe, Ajayi Obe. Auntie stayed very close to all of them. She stayed close to the Thompsons as well. She stayed close to everyone that was related. She was also, as has been mentioned by the Osifos here, that she was a welcoming and hospitable in-law. A person that will open her house to everybody. But she was also a courageous woman. She was an outspoken woman. I can't remember if it was the Professor Neto that said that maybe that also limited her career in some way, but we were very proud of her. She was a custodian of our family history and our family values. So we are very, very happy to be associated with her. She lived up to her heritage in every sense of the word, in every aspect of her life. She maintained her integrity and love for Jehovah until her last breath. Hers was a life that was not just lived, but it was lived well. It was lived fully. It was lived productively, and has left a blueprint for all of us to follow how it is we should lead a meaningful and impactful life. So on that note, I want to say thank you very much. That we look forward to all of us continue to be inspired by our auntie for whom we have gathered here today, that will continue to build on the foundation and the legacies that she has left. Thank you very much.
Thanks. We are gradually moving towards the end of this program, and we are now at the last phase of the tributes, which is item 16. Tributes from daughters, Ibukun, Enoma, and Igbe, in that order, will be coming out to give tribute to their late mother. Let's welcome Ibukun, Enoma, and Igbe for that tribute, for their tributes, rather. Five minutes. Okay, each person. Okay. Okay. So we can just have background music for 5 minutes. Background music for 5 minutes.
Lord, with me,
Thank you, thank you. And we now have Ibukun Nama Anigbe to give tributes. Taking photograph. Let's give us music. Let's continue.
The title of my tribute is My Daughter, Not My Daughter-in-Law. And this is something that Mommy used to say to me all the time. So right from the time I entered the family, she repeatedly reminded me that she did not gain a daughter-in-law, she gained a daughter. Oh, okay, sorry.
Hello. Let's listen, please.
Mommy, as I always called her, right from the time I entered the family, she constantly and repeatedly reminded me that she did not gain a daughter, she gained a daughter. And she always started our conversations with my daughter. I remember her saying to me very early on that she's taken me on as a daughter, and this meant so much to me, particularly given that I had lost my own mother quite early in life. Mommy and I bonded on many different levels, not least of all being the fact that we were the only two full Yoruba women and wives among the Osifos. I believe she enjoyed speaking to me in Yoruba, although on occasion, she did feel the need to translate some Yoruba words and sayings into English to ensure that I fully understood. We also bonded about having the only boys in the immediate family, and she was very happy to help me to normalize this experience. During the times when I was a little perplexed at my son's unique characteristics, she would say to me, "My daughter, this is how these boys are. Trust me, I've been there. It's nothing new." Mommy was not one to suffer fools gladly. She was very direct about how she felt, and although her delivery at times might have come across as rather blunt, I was just going to comment. Blunt has been a word that has been used a number of times today. I always knew she was coming from a good place. She was the true definition of being authentic. With Mommy, what you saw is what you got. I was never left guessing or trying to decipher what she might be thinking about anything and everything. When she was pleased, she was truly pleased. And likewise, if she was not happy about something, you would surely know about it. There were no guessing games, and she did not hold back. Once I understood this, I grew to find this a very refreshing trait, and it made us much closer. I felt really blessed to have her as a mother, which is a role that she did not take lightly with me. Her care and support were always so apparent to me. She was my biggest cheerleader, and even more so after the loss of my late husband, where amidst her own pain and grief, she still offered me so much care, encouragement, and support. She was constantly telling me not to overwork myself and painfully reminding me that I was not getting any younger. She would say, "You know you're not young anymore." I always had to refrain myself from telling her that I felt as young as ever. She repeatedly said to me that she felt blessed that I had married her son, and she would not have had it any other way. And this filled my heart with joy. One of the things I admired most about Mommy was how fiercely independent she was. She held herself with dignity. And a great example of this was during the birth of each of her 6 grandchildren. She had allocated the same fixed amount of time of 6 weeks to each of us to spend helping us with our newborns. And she did not spend an extra day over her fixed time. I specifically remember her saying to me, when she came to help me with Adesua in London, she said to me, "I'm going back to my own house now before I become a nuisance, and I'll stay my welcome." And I thought, this is a wisdom that I intend to take on when my time comes, God willing. I also remember with gratitude at that time having my first full night of rest, sleep, after giving birth to Adesua. When she saw how exhausted I was, she offered to do the night feed for me. I woke up a new woman, and I never took getting a good night's sleep for granted ever again. My last physical interaction with Mommy was in August last year, when I traveled to Lagos on a work trip. I decided to pay her a surprise visit in Ibadan. Looking back now, I am so happy I took this opportunity, not knowing that this was actually the last time and that I was going to spend with her. When I mentioned to Mommy the day before that I was coming to see her in Ibadan, although she was very happy I was coming, she still made it known to me that I had not given her ample notice to prepare for me. So my plan was to take her out to lunch nearby, as I didn't want her to go to any trouble for me. So when I said to her, "Mommy, I'd like to take you out to lunch," I recall her very stern response, "How can you take me out to lunch? I am taking you out to lunch." We had such a lovely time that day, and I fondly remember how we spent time laughing and joking as we bonded over Amala and Ewedu. Mommy and I bonded over faith and the love of the Bible, and we had many conversations specifically about the Psalms, which to her delight is one of my favorite books in the Bible and plays a large part in my own personal healing journey. So I'll now end this tribute with the reading of one of our favorite Psalms, Psalm 121. I will lift my eyes unto the hills, from whence comes my help. My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Amen. In this tribute to Mommy, I've tried to convey the essence of who Mommy was. However, it really needs to be said that her true essence can only be experienced. And experiencing Mommy is a privilege and a blessing. Mommy, continue to rest in peace.
don't know how to follow up on that. Anyway, a mother. EA has a call in my dialect. A paraclete to her child takes away anguish. A mother is a paraclete to her child, takes away anguish, brings peace, security, peace, and community. He said, I won't cry. $19,660 days was my physical presence with her. Surprised child, mother. She used to snicker that I was a surprised child. They only wanted two. Her words most of the time. And Oma DJ, Oma David. Over the years, those 19,000 days, lot of joy, lot of patience, lot of discipline, lot of education, informal, how to make your bed, formal, liver enzymes and nuclear medicine. We used to gist. She wanted to know so much. When I got married to Jide was like, what do you keep saying? When I moved to Central California, she told me the cities I was going to go through. I'm like, Mommy, how do you know? She said, how can my daughter be in Central California and I will not know? But as we grew, it moved from mother to child to friends. Then motherhood. I remember when I was carrying Demi, I was like, Mommy, how would I love another child? She said you will to multiply. She was very practical. She applied her science in how to make amala. For example, Mommy will not start making amala with hot water. She said why she should be sweating over the pot. You know, she devised how much. She said science was all about practicality. Then of course, she and my dad, very interesting marriage. Was That she talked to her grandkids. When Shane walked in, she would talk to him. But most of all, I just thank you, Lord, for giving me such a mother. Her discipline. She works. Her life was based on Colossians 3:23. Whatever you're doing, do with all your strength that you're walking to the Lord. So, Mommy, you have said you know that long. When I told you when you were 87, you were like, oh, am I that old? But you are. But I know you were prepared. She told us exactly what she wanted, so it didn't come as a surprise. But I definitely know she wanted to go and see DJ and Sasa. She looked at me. She says, you guys will be fine. You'll be fine. But most of all, I said, Mommy, I'm coming home in May. By God's grace. Either I will see you here or I will see you at the foot of the throne. And I know I will see her there. Thank you, Mommy. Oyese Osanubua.
So, thank you very much, everybody. This has been an amazing day for me. For my mother, it's funny that people said she was a fighter and she was independent and she was very focused. This happened from when she was born. My grandmother had 5 children. The first 3 died. The fourth, her brother, Engineer Falui, and Mama Faluis are here today, and my mother, she was the last one. For some reason, my grandmother, Engineer Falui, was born in the hospital. So for some reason, they decided my mother will be born in the house. My mother was born, and my grandmother continued to bleed. And so meanwhile, I think my grandfather was a district education officer. So during pre-independence, 1937, somebody ran and they got a car and, to rush my grandmother to the hospital because my grandmother was bleeding. And so my grandfather, carried my grandmother into the car and rushed into the hospital. They get to the end of the road, and everybody says, oh, where's the baby? They turned the car around to pick up my mother, the newborn that they had left at home, so they could carry her to the hospital. And in many ways, I think that started my mother's life. The will to survive. Her mother was a strong woman. She came from educated parents. And that drive, when my mother was in Bini, my grandmother used to tell me, they used to call her Obirimbi Okori. Apparently, they would go to the place to get water, and other people would be crying. My mother was like 5 years old. She would come back with like half a bucket of water. And her mother would say, how did you get it? Bini people. My mother would say, I did not people. I too, I must get water. If they will get, I will get. And that's my mother. So the drive that everybody talked about, the ability to work hard, that started very much in her youth. She went to 5 primary schools and had no primary school friends, really, except a few that went with her to Queen's College. So in many ways, when she got to QC, QC was really the start of a stable school life for her. But even in QC, she goes into Queen's College, Lagos. Her uncle and co, they took her in the car to Lagos, and their family, my cousin mentioned it earlier, the Thompsons and co, all in Lagos, so she was with her people. All of a sudden, Queen's College decided to move the whole boarding school from Queen's College to Ede. So that's how my mother became a forerunner in Ede. And she and her boarding school friends, aunts, including aunts to one of my very good friends who's here today, started in Ede. And for people who don't know, Ede eventually transferred to Ibadan, which is why Queen's College Lagos and Ede became Ibadan have the same school song. Mommy and I had a special relationship because I also went to Queen's College, like my mother. I remember at that time, I could have gone to international school, but I wanted to go to QC, like my mom. My mom has been an amazing inspiration to me all through her life and beyond. In the last 6 weeks, I have learned so much of my mother professionally, which I did not know, even though we are loosely in the same profession. Everything sort of amazing to hear what she's done. One of the other great inspirational things about my mother, she went through many difficult times, including almost dying twice. I think once in her 30s, once in her 40s. Actually, she did stop breathing. So people often thought, so now my mom lived 87, 40, 50 years after that. You know, it's amazing, it's an amazing miracle for me when I remember, what she went through. The other thing is that my mother started a new career at 65. Who starts a new career at 65? And many people were talking about things she did in her 60s and in her 70s. In a country where the life expectancy is below 60, I think my mother was amazing. For me, she's truly inspirational. I am not 65 yet. So from my mother's point of view, the best is yet to come. My sisters talked about my mother, about how amazing she was as a mother. She wanted to know everything about us. When I joined the World Bank, the next thing, my mother became a World Bank expert. She knew where the World Bank was. She knew what people did in the World Bank. So she would call me, oh, what are you doing? What policy are you doing? I'm looking at her, what's she talking about? And, she was forever extremely proud of us. I remember when I joined the World Bank, somebody told my mother that, your daughter is not married and you're proud that she joined the World Bank. My mother said, what are you talking about? Do you know how difficult it is? She's my daughter. Anything she does is fine. And she learned about the World Bank. My brother became initially a trader and investment banker. My mother went to go and read about banking so she could talk to him. That's the kind of person she was. Even her grandchildren, anything that anybody did, my mother will go and read, study it, so that she can engage and have intelligent questions. She taught me how to be a mother. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And for that, I think she truly lives on in all of us, and I will also teach my daughters the same. Like Inoma described our mother's last couple of weeks. For people that know us, until last year, my mother was in pretty good shape. This year has been pretty tough, but she did not give up her independence easily. It was very hard, and it was very hard, trying to encourage her to get extra help. And as Norma mentioned, we talked about including threats and, both gentle and not so gentle, to sort of convince her that she needed more help in the house. But I was really fortunate that I was here with my mom her last few days and when she passed. Like Norma said, it was really very interesting to see our mother so feisty at the end. She was really very open, emotional, telling us stories about her life, and I'm sure some things that are not in the history books. But she was an amazing mother, and I miss her all the time. I was thinking today when I was coming from Lagos, usually I'll be like, Mommy, hello, Mommy, I've left Lagos. If I don't call after 3 hours, you've left Lagos. Are you not in Ibadan yet? Where are you? And so those things I will miss. Somebody that cared for me and my family with no hesitation. But I really thank everybody here today who have added or supported my mom in many ways. And she'll be truly, and as Ibukun had said when we were organizing this, my mother would have been saying, why are you wasting your time? But I think you will all agree with me, it wasn't a waste of time for an amazing woman. I love you, Mother, and we cannot wait until we meet again. Thank you.
Let's appreciate them very well. Let's appreciate them. That's wonderful. A lot has been said about Professor B.O.A. Osifo. What will people say about you? What will people say about you and I? That is a food for thought for every one of us. We have come to the end of this program. We now want to invite Engineer Sheun Falui for the vote of thanks. Engineer Sheun Falui.
So, as we come to the end of this program, I want to say thank you very much to everybody on behalf of the family. Egbe had already started saying thank you, but I still want to say thank you once again because we really appreciate that so many of you have taken out your time to be here. I want to first of all start by thanking the management of the university. We thank UCH. We thank the heads of departments, nuclear medicine, chemical pathology. So thank you all very much. We thank the university management, we thank UCH management, we thank the CMD, the provost, we thank the heads of departments of the various departments, the honor that has been shown to our mother and grandmother and auntie. We thank all the eminent colleagues, all the professors that were here. A number of them have left now, but we will still say thank you to them. All those ones who were her mentees, thank you very much for being here. We thank the people from Queen's School, from Queen's College. It was very nice to hear the anthem about passing on the torch. And we know that Auntie has now passed on the torch and it is still brightly gleaming. We thank the association that are here. We thank all the friends of Egbe and Osaze and Inoma, and so all the friends of Osaze that are here as well. I've always said you guys are superb. Osaze will be very, very proud of how much you have continued to stay and support his family and his mother. Thank you very much. We thank the families that are here, our in-laws, the Osifos, Abohio, Wado. Thank you very much. We thank the Faluyis that are here. We thank the Thompsons that are here. We thank our in-laws, all those ones that have come from near and far. We really thank you for coming, and we really appreciate it. We are thankful also to we'll say for our own generation, the in-laws of our generation, the Dawudus, the Alades. We thank Ibukun's family members that are here as well. We are going to be living not sad. We're not going to be living downhearted. We're actually going to be living inspired by the words that we have heard. We're going to be living encouraged by the impact that Auntie has made. You know, she is a unique person. Somebody said she's irreplaceable. One of the things that I also wanted to mention, she's Professor Bola Osifo. She's not Professor Mrs. Bola Osifo. Just to remind us that she's not Professor Mrs. Bola Osifo. And when I'll ask why, she said that her husband is Professor David Osifo. He's not Professor Mr. David Osifo. So why will she be Professor Mrs. Osifo? And she's Professor Osifo. And when I asked that, but will it not kind of show that as a woman you're making progress? She said she did not want to make progress on the basis of her gender. She wanted to make progress on the basis of her contribution, the value she was adding. She was like that. She will never be replaced. She was one in a billion. But again, we say thank you very much, and we wish everybody that has come. We know all of you are very accomplished in your own right. We know you are all very busy. For you to take out this time to stay with us, to share with us, to encourage us, want to wish you that may Jehovah God also bless you and be with you. We want to wish that all of us, whatever it is that you have done, that you continue to build on the foundation that Auntie has laid by touching our lives, and that we'll all continue to live a life of meaning and of impact. On that note, I want to say thank you very much once again on behalf of the family. Thank you very much.
We have come to the end of today's memorial program organized for our late Mama, Professor B.O.A. Osifo. We started with opening prayer. It is therefore expedient for us to close with prayer. I will now call on Professor Dele Itiola to come and close this occasion with a closing prayer. Professor Itiola, please.
Draw us, Jesus, as we worship. Draw us near. I will seek a place at your altar, humbly draw near to you.
Let us pray. Oh God, our Father, we thank you for today as always. Thank you for being with us throughout this ceremony. Honor of your daughter, Professor Bola Olufunke Ayodele Osifo, whose memories are very precious to us all. We thank you for the love she shared with us, and we pray that she's with you now, enjoy the fullness of eternal life. We give blessings, none of all the blessings you bestowed on her in this life. May she now rest in peace with the knowledge that she was, is, and will always be dearly loved and terribly missed. We bid her farewell. Please comfort us in our sadness. Be with us in our joy of our salvation, and strengthen us in our hopes until we are united with her in the love of Christ. Eternal rest grant her, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon her. In your mercy, Please turn the darkness of death into the dawn of a new era. May our soul and the soul of all faithful departed, through your mercy, rest in peace. We thank you, Father, for hearing us when we pray. As we disperse from here, bless us with your strength, peace, and love, and be with us all, now and forever. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Lord, with me. When peace like a river attended my way, when rose like sea, billows roll. What I am but my love, thou hast taught those same when peace like a river attended my way, when rose like sea, billows roll. What I am but my love, thou hast taught